Democrats have no Biden backup plan for 2024 despite age concerns. And the Democratic Party has no plan B if President Joe Biden decided to, for any reason, to halt his 2024 reelection campaign. Despite weak poll numbers and questions, including from some Democrats about his age, Biden has stuck to his plan to seek a second term after clearing the field of serious Democratic primary challengers when he announced in April that he was running again. And that would be just like Democrats to screw over their voters, following their own selfish greed and agendas that they continue to put above the greater good and what's best for the people and the forward progress and progression of the country. I mean, if you know that you are of potentially questionable ability to serve this country, again, why would you restrict and block and hinder the ability for someone else to step in and possibly do a better job? My question, I don't know if I'll ever get an answer. Even if more Democratic candidates were to jump in now being today is November 30, 2023, the path forward would be unclear as deadlines to get on the primary ballot in critical states such as Nevada, South Carolina, and Georgia have already passed. Biden loyalists, citing his record in office, argue that the party does not need a backup plan to defeat probable Republican nominee Donald Trump, who Biden beat in the 2020 election. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Well, let's just be honest here, folks. He never fooled me because he did not get my vote then, and he sure as hell won't get my vote now. Well, let's just think about this. Excuse me. Sorry about this congestion. We have a presidential candidate. We have an existing presidential candidate nominee for re-election who is so stubborn and hell-bent on getting what he wants in more ways than one, folks. We can talk about that till the cows come home. Most of what he wants is completely ridiculous and asinine. He wants this so much and so bad that he won't even consider a backup plan. He won't even consider a plan B. Now, I know a lot of folks who watch consider themselves to be awake and planning and preparing, potentially preppers, homesteaders alike. Having a backup plan and a plan B almost seems elementary. You know, it's like, how can you be the leader of the free world and only have one way out, basically? What if something happens? What if something goes wrong? And I hate to say it, but it's not a what if, it's when. Now, Reuters spoke to multiple current and former officials who, while making clear they want Biden to succeed, acknowledged the party could face upheaval should the oldest president in U.S. history encounter a health issue or step aside for other reasons during the White House contest. Biden's running mate, Vice President Kamala Harris, who has her own popularity problems, would not automatically replace him as the top candidate if he stepped aside. She would benefit from their joint campaign infrastructure if she ran for president in his absence, but other Democrats would likely swoop into the race as well. But maybe Joe has no concern over this whatsoever from an age and a health standpoint because he was one of the first to get, no way, in my opinion, would Kamala ever win. I don't think Harris has it. And, but if somehow through the grace of God, they both, Biden and Harris, win for a second term, then she would be second in command and first to take office in this continuation of government as president if and when Biden is not around anymore, for instance. Hypothetical here. But there's a good chance that Biden, this old man, he could live to be 99, 100 years old. So honestly, this may be a moot point, so that this may not even be an immediate fear or worry, because think about it. Henry Kissinger just passed at 100 years old. Charlie Munger just died at 99. And I even saw Clint Eastwood on set and directing a new movie at the age of 93. So it is truly amazing how far science and modern medicine has come, especially for those with the money to stay in good health. Which is also, ironically, another problem that continues to hurt Social Security, and the fact that people are, in fact, living longer nowadays. But I digress, folks. Let's get back to this article. And also, real quick, thank you to everyone for wishing me well. Whatever came over me popped up out of nowhere, but I'm glad that it happened after we returned back home from visiting Georgia. And Michelle she's taken great care, excellent care of me. And I honestly don't know what I've done to deserve such an amazing woman, wife, and mother to our child. Now she's gonna go live again today on Squirrel Tribe Life. So stop by and just tell her hello and smash the like button while you're there. Squirrel Tribe Life is a different channel, so if you haven't been, go check it out, Squirrel Tribe Life. And also more videos and posts have been uploaded to Patreon, and the conversations are really, in my opinion, great. And they're doing a lot of good for so many people to have a place to discuss openly and freely a variety of topics and real life events and circumstances that affect so many people right now. So I'm gonna put a link down below in the description for you to go check it out after you're done watching this video, or you can just go to patreon.com/Squirrel Tribe. All right, so there is no plan B if he were suddenly not to run. Everyone you know would run. The VP scares no one, and this is a direct quote from senior Democrat, which they told Reuters. And if Biden were to drop out while the Democratic primaries were ongoing, other candidates could join in the race depending on state filing requirements. If Biden drops out, I think if Biden drops out, no matter what, and Trump runs, Trump wins. I think it's too little, too late. And if Biden drops out and Trump continues to run and he doesn't win, then yeah, I would be real skeptical about what's going on behind the closed doors. Who's pulling the strings behind the curtain here, you know? Now, they said that it normally takes months to set up a presidential campaign and raise the money to run, and deadlines to get on the ballot in consequential states, including California, Illinois, and Michigan, are approaching in the coming weeks. Democrat officials are united behind the president, despite some trepidation, they say. Otherwise, big-name competitors already would have entered the race. Joe, and this is according to Daniel Wessel, and he's a Biden campaign spokesperson. Joe Biden will be the Democratic nominee, and he will beat whichever MAGA extremists the Republicans put forward. Referring to former President Trump's Make America Great Again slogan. Trump, who is 77 years of age, the front runner for the Republican nomination, also faces concerns about his age and a litany of charges, including mishandling of classified documents and interfering in the 2020 election, which he lost to Biden. He continues to deny wrongdoing. I guess the question is, it's like, put all that aside. Who did a better job? Who did a better job? Plain and simple. That should be the most important question that we should be trying to answer right now. Who did a better job? Who had this country moving in a better direction? Who is likely to improve upon the state of which we are at currently moving forward, should they be elected in 2024? That's the question. Multiple candidates are challenging Trump in the Republican primary race, given the party built-in alternatives in the unlikely event that Trump drops out. So, I mean, the Republicans got it. They've got a plan. They got a plan, and they got a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D. The Democrats don't. Now, Biden's age has become a defining part of the 2024 campaign. And David Axelrod, a top White House advisor during Barack Obama's presidency, said Biden needed to decide whether it was smart to run again after November polling showed him lagging in key swing states against Trump. If he continues to run, he will be the nominee of the Democratic Party. What he needs to decide is whether that is wise. And whether, most importantly, listen to this, it is in his best interest or the country's. And that's one of the sticking points here for me, folks, is who is he more concerned about? You see what I'm saying? A physical examination in February found Biden healthy and fit for duty. And Biden has long believed that he is the Democratic most likely to beat Trump. But a Reuters Ipsos poll on November 7 showed his approval rating at 39%, its lowest since April. And Biden's current position and involvement in choices and decisions with how he's handling these conflicts in the Middle East is definitely hurting him and hurting a lot of other people in this country as well. But it's definitely hurting him to the point of which voters are now beginning to pay attention and be motivated and driven by other reasons as to why they won't vote for him, more so than reasons why they would or used to or will. And it's interesting. It's amazing how, I don't even think he can really lie his way through this one. I think that, empty campaign promises are going to they're not going to go very far, taking into consideration the distaste that a lot of voters have now, or would-be Democratic voters have, based on how he's decided to handle. Most importantly, the biggest one being the conflict in Gaza right now between Israel and Hamas. And if Republicans really want to drive the point home and solidify the win, all they have to do is ensure that he continues to look bad from now to November, because I'm sure this conflict is not going to end anytime soon. There's no ceasefire. There's nothing. And it says that Democrats' primary elections start in February and end in June, and they hold their convention in Chicago in August. Biden is expected to win his party's nomination after an easy primary process. He has a massive lead in polls over declared Democratic challengers. And if he dropped out after the last primaries in June of 24, delegates would be free to vote for another candidate in Chicago. Now, this is important here because any departure before the convention would almost certainly lead to jockeying among a broad group of presidential hopefuls, including Kamala Harris and California Governor Gavin Newsom, to convince more than 4,000 Democratic delegates to give them the job. It would augur a return to a time in which convention delegates truly chose and not just rubber stamped their nominee. I hope you guys are really paying attention to what they're telling us here, okay? And what they're sharing and what is happening or what has happened. And if he drops out before the convention, then make sure I got this right. We will have an old-fashioned convention where the delegates essentially get to make up their mind on whom to vote for, regardless of who they were elected to represent. That's very important. And that could spark intra-party warfare, leaving Democrats to mirror Republicans in a battle in which candidates spend time and money fighting each other. Fighting each other. This has nothing to do with the greater good for the people or for the country, and it all comes down to them and their own personal selfish agendas and fighting each other. Yeah. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. Maybe I'm interpreting this wrong. And if so, feel free, drop a comment down below. I'm open to debate and discussion. Let's keep it, respectful and on the up and up. But maybe I'm just reading this wrong. But it says that things get more complicated if for any reason Biden dropped out after the convention. The 435 members of the DNC would then meet in a special session to select a nominee. This is important. If he chooses or is forced or by some act of God is no longer running after the Chicago convention, then the 435 members of the DNC would then meet in a special session to select a nominee. That changes the game, okay? And they said that this has happened before, back in 1972, where then Senator George Eagleton withdrew as Democratic presidential candidate. George McGovern's vice presidential running mate, after revelations of his treatment for depression, forced him out of the race. The DNC had an emergency meeting to fill the vacancy and select Sergeant Shriver to take his place. McGovern ended up losing the election. So, honestly, like I said, if Biden drops out now, Republicans win. If he drops out after Chicago in August, Republicans win. So no matter what, if Biden makes any change, any pivot, Republicans win, in my opinion. I don't think the Democrats have what it takes. I don't think they have what it takes from a time perspective, a finance perspective, and a voter confidence perspective to win. Newsom has been particularly active as a surrogate for Biden by taking high-profile swipes at Republican presidential candidate Ron DeSantis, and who's the governor of Florida. And a bunch of the surrogate activity we see out there, like Newsom all over helping Biden, is partially to remind Democratic voters they are out there as an option. I don't think that Newsom will have the same effect overall in general on Democratic voters to replace Biden. I don't even know if residents of California would vote for Gavin Newsom. It's crazy. He's very, very questionable in my opinion. And I would say that if by chance that were to be our future, then God help us all, because he's completely lost touch and he's out of focus with what really matters. And I don't think he has what it takes to be president, let alone governor. And that would be a devastating turn of events. Either way, what do you guys think? Let me know. Check out the links down below in the description. Go check out Squirrel Tribe Life later on today for a live stream. And I will see you guys again soon. Take care. Be safe.